Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. I am Becca, your host, and today we're diving into some seriously powerful topics that could transform your health and your garden. So whether you're looking to boost your health or from the inside out or grow the most nutrient-dense food in your community, we've got you covered. So folks, thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc. We want to make sure that if you are here live with us in the Zoom room, you have that chat open as the information is going to be shared in the chat. So if you're not taking notes fast enough and you need a little bit of help, Marilyn's your girl, as she is our co-host that is putting that information into the chat. Yes, this is a live Zoom, so if you're out watching us on the different platforms, whether it's at the moment or later, you're welcome to join us Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Central, and 3 to 4 Eastern Time by going to zoom.dailywithdoc.com. Again, that's zoom.dailywithdoc.com. Now, we are a resource for an amazing community of individuals who have found the benefits and solutions that we offer here to be valuable in their own life, and they share it with others. So if this program was being shared or has been shared with you by somebody specific, get back with that individual as they cared enough about you and took the time to share this program with you. Get back with them, tell them thank you, also what you found most interesting about the show, and they're also your person to get a hold of, to get connected with what's going to take to be possibly a solution to a U-turn in your health journey as well. Well, today's episode, before we get to that, this program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, and this program also has an amazing community connected. So if you were never shared this program with anybody, you found it on your own, and you would like to get connected with a certified holistic health coach, I have a great team that you can reach at 855-949-3377. Now, this is for those who have never tried any of the products mentioned on this program and have not had communication with anybody that has mentioned Dr. Wallach, Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, or any of the products that are mentioned on this program. So we are here for those who have had no contact and want to know more. So again, that's 855-949-3377. And if you have questions or recommendations of what you'd like to hear about on our show, you can email us questions at dailywithdoc.com. So let's get into today's episode, everybody. We are joined by none other than somebody who is lovingly known as Dr. Dirt, Richard Renton, longevity's expert on soil revitalization. He's just an expert, folks. Sports nutrition, formulating, health nutrition for even those of us who are not sports minded or athletic. And today we are going to be tackling the difference between collagen and gelatin, how they impact our health. Plus, we're going to be diving into the amazing benefits of Bloomin minerals, which, folks, it's a game changer when it comes to making sure that you have nutrient-dense food going into your body that you can grow yourself. So grab your headphones, grab your cup of coffee of something refreshing. I myself got my Tangy Tangerine, my plant-derived minerals in there, and get ready to learn what is the difference between gelatin and collagen, and then what you can do in your own yard. So, Richard Renton, thank you so much for being here with me today. It's always a pleasure to have you on as you're one of the founders, aren't you, of Longevity?
Yep.
And
Been almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years. Yeah. So as one of the founding fathers of longevity and a formulator, you have brought so much to the table, and I am just honored to be able to have you join us here on Daily with Doc. So welcome, my friend. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks for having me on, and it's fun to be on with the show and see all your crew and all the people on here. And I try to get on about once a month, and I remember last month we were talking a little bit about the blooming minerals. I thought I'd do that first and then go into the gelatin and collagen. And I actually got a few emails and questions, and so I just want to recap and then update and answer the questions, because that's part of the benefits of these shows, is being able to do that. And so the blooming minerals is basically a polite way of saying leftover humic shale from when we made the plant-derived minerals. And so if you think about it, we take this ground up humic shale and we do osmosis, like making sun tea, and we leach a percentage of the minerals out and we get it to a certain concentration, and then we purify it. And then that's what basically the plant-derived minerals are. But then the next question is what do you do with the leftover humic shale? Is it still good? And the answer is yes. It's kind of like olive oil. You have your extra virgin olive oil, and then you have your virgin olive oil, and then you have your standard olive oil. We could probably re-soak it in another batch of water and make plant-derived minerals, but we want to consider ours the absolute top grade, so we don't do that. So what we do is we dry the moisture out of it, and then we bag it up, and we allow you to make fertilizer for your fruits and vegetables with it. And so when you get it, it comes in 3 different sizes: a 2.5 pound jar, a 4.5 pound jar, and a 40-pound bag. Now, as long as you don't let it get wet, it will pretty much last forever. I mean, it's last in the ground for millions of years. So I think it'll do all right in your garage as long as you keep it dry. And so I buy it in the 40-pound bag because it makes the most sense there. And then I have it with what I want. Because one of the questions that was asked me is, how much do you put on your soil? And the best way to phrase it is that 12 pounds does a 10 by 10 or 100 square foot plot. So 12 pounds. And so you all can do the math on how big your patches or your raised beds are and figure out how much it is. But if that's the math that I go by, 12 pounds for 100 square feet. The other thing is when do I do it and how often? And so in my experience, I do it twice a year. I do it in the fall, which we're a little too late for, and then again in the spring. And in the spring, the way I do it is I plant my plants or my seeds in the soil, and then I pour the blooming minerals in a light coat over the top. Now you might want to ask why that way, because the idea is that as it rains during the spring or as you water, those minerals that are sitting on top of the soil soak down into the soil, into the root system. The other thing that I see people do periodically in the summer is that they soak the minerals in water and then they put it in a spray bottle and they spray the leaves or plants or the actual fruit about once a week with a mist. And so there's that trick. The way you do it in the fall is that you pull out all your weeds and everything in your bed, and you pour the Bloomin minerals on it, and you incorporate it in the soil. And then I lay plastic over my bed so that it gets warmer during the winter, and it gives a chance for those minerals to really incorporate in the soil. So what should you get out of this? What's the benefit of this? And the best thing as I do is that I always tell newcomers to do it on half their bed or half their beds if they have more than one, and put strawberries in one and strawberries in the other, and do it with my method in one of the two beds. And then when you harvest, I want you to do a couple of things. I want you to cut the fruit open and look at it. And you'll typically find that in strawberries that you buy in the store, that it's hollow in the middle. I don't know if any of you can recall that, but it's hollow in the middle. And what you're going to find, and they're not very dense, and they're usually a lighter red in the center of the strawberry than they are on the outer edges of the strawberry. And when you pick it on my side, which has the Bloomin minerals, that gap in the middle, that hole in the middle won't be there. And it'll be redder inside the fruit. And the other thing that gets really interesting is if you get a ball jar, a quart jar, and you fill it most of the way full of water, and you drop the berry in the water, it's going to sink. It'll sink right down to the bottom. And that's because the density of the fruit with the nutrients is greater than the stuff that you get at the stores. You have to remember, typically in the United States, and I know this is an international call, but typically in the United States, our berries are coming from South America, Central America, then eventually California or Florida, and they're picked a week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks before they're really ripe. And so they don't get much of a chance, where if you grow them in your own yard, you can wait till they literally get extremely ripe and then pick it, and then you get the bang for the buck. And that's true. The other thing I always like to tell people is that if you're always wondering how old your eggs are, you can do the same trick with an egg. If the egg sinks, it's a fresh egg. If the egg floats, you probably shouldn't eat it. And so it's kind of a neat way to test your produce. Of course, I don't recommend that you walk in the store with a bottle of water and start testing their fruit. They might get a little sensitive about that, but it is a good way to find out which one of your local stores are. And, believe it or not, you'll laugh at me. I've gone down to the farmer markets in my community because sometimes I think that they're buying the fruits and vegetables from local wholesalers, and who knows where they're coming from. And I'll actually test the berry, and they'll look at me and they know what I'm doing. But the people next to me go, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm just checking some stuff out." I try not to take sales away from the local business people, but I do check and those types of things. And it makes it interesting to do that. So there again, a quick recap. 2 times a year, fall, you incorporate in the soil, and then you cover it for the winter. In the spring, you plant your plants, and then you sprinkle the minerals on top of the soil. And then during the summer, if it's getting hot and whatnot, you can take some of that humic shale, put it in some water, let it sit for a couple of days, put it in a spray bottle, and then spray the leaves. And, I really feel that you can improve the quality of your beans, your lettuce, your peppers, your eggplant. What else does Karen have out there right now? Not strawberries yet, tomatoes, and all those types of things. You'll see a significant difference in the first year, even if you just do it now and you didn't start in the fall. But then when you start in the fall and then go to the following spring, it compounds. And every year you do it, it compounds. The best story I can tell you that relates to that is that we were with a farmer in Japan. And in Japan, they have very small acreage. They don't have these massive farms like we do out here. Property is too valuable. But the government rates their fruit on a scale of A to M, so to speak, except it's their letters, right? And so the rating that you get, the higher the rating, like an A, you get more per pound for your fruit. So when you're on a livelihood that it's a very small farm, that grade makes all the difference in the world. It tells you how much. And we had a farmer that was having a G or an H level, and literally he wasn't quite breaking even, and he was really getting sad. And so we gave him a bag of the Bloomin minerals, and we told him how to use it, and we helped him, and we said, we'll give this to you, but we want pictures of what happened. And he followed it exactly how we suggested, and he went from a G to an A in one season.
Wow.
And it made all the difference in the world to his family. And he took pictures of the fruit, what it looked like. He had fruit from the previous year and the size, and then the fruit that he had that year. And then he had pictures of it cut open. And I wish I could share it with you, but I don't have it. So I know I'm going to get slapped my hand for telling you that, but not having the pictures. But we'll go for that, and we'll see if we can. I can find the pictures somewhere and share it with you. But it made a difference in his family's livelihood because they went from the G to an A and was able to do it. So I was going to switch over to gelatin and collagen right now, but I see that Bill has his hand up. If it's relating to this, why don't we answer that question?
Yes, and I just wanted to make some comments on that as well. Being a gardener myself, I think that it's brilliant how you had really mentioned that you can just top dress your soil. And just as a reminder, that's 12 pounds for a 10 by 10 garden plot, and the rain brings it down. And then in the season, you had talked about putting the plastic over the top. That's holding the moisture in and working it in. So working the minerals into the soil, holding the moisture in. That moisture is going to help dissolve those minerals so they're ready for the next season. That's fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, Bill, do you have a question in regards to Bloomin minerals?
I want to use the Bloomin minerals, but the direct question is on the next subject regarding a generated disc.
Okay, we'll get into that.
Understood. Thank you.
All right. So away we go on the next segment that I want to go to, and that's gelatin and collagen. And I don't know how many of you have been around as long as I have with Dr. Wallach and Dead Doctors Don't Lie and all that. But if you ever listen to that original recording, he was telling people 30 years ago to dive into a Kentucky Fried Chicken dumpster and getting the chicken cartilage out of there to help you with your joints, right? And he meant it as a joke, but a lot of people took him seriously, and a lot of people started to source out gelatin. And when longevity actually started to be longevity, we knew that gelatin was going to be one of the first products that we had to come out with. And I actually went to Knox Gelatin Company and said, so we're looking for a gelatin that is pure bovine and that the cattle are relatively healthy and alive. And we would like to buy it by the 5-ton amount per time. So we're not talking a small order. And Knox Gelatin literally looked at me with the strangest look in their eyes, going, you obviously don't know how gelatin's made because we don't even separate the animals. And if you don't know, gelatin is basically connective tissue, which would be collagen. And then they literally boil and cook the living daylights out of it, and they change it. We'll talk about the change, and that makes gelatin. And I go, well, we're going to use it as a nutritional product to digest. And so we really want to maintain these standards. And he goes, well, there's no way that we're interested in even taking on your project. And then about the same time, mad cow disease came out. And we're talking 25 years ago or more. And people were concerned about taking beef products. And so I did some due diligence and found out that there was basically 3 companies that had never had, until this day, have never had a mad cow case: Brazil, Argentina, and Japan. And so we couldn't afford Japan Kobe beef gelatin. It'd be nice we do, but I don't think you guys would want to pay for it. If you've ever had a Kobe beef steak, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I contacted the people down in Argentina, and they had rules they have to do for their cattle. They're very, very proud of their cattle. They can never be given steroids or hormones. They have to have natural feeding, and they have to be healthy at time at slaughter. And all they do is beef. No they don't mix chicken and pork and all that in their slaughter facilities. And so we made arrangements to bring in their gelatin from there, and then we tested it for mad cow as well as all the others, and it came out great. And so we've been importing our gelatin from Argentina ever since. Now, about 15 years ago, I think Knox Gelatin started to look at what's going on, and they found out how we were bringing it in and all that, and how much we were bringing it in at that point, because I think we were bringing it in 10-ton amounts at that time. And they basically came out with a bovine only, which is beef only, gelatin, and they started to sell it in little packets that you could mix in your water to take the same benefits. And so if you thought about it, Doc Wallach has been recommending collagen longer than any other doctor or research study that I found, because he's been doing it for 20 to 25, 30 years. He's been suggesting it, documented with his tape, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. So what is gelatin and what is collagen? They're basically amino acid chains that are almost identical. There is some slight differences, but they're high in protein. In fact, about 1/3 of the entire protein in your body is collagen. And their helix change, if you don't know what that means, it's kind of like that twisted ladder. And they typically collagen is strains of over 1,000 amino acids, of which the majority of it is 4 or 5 different types, but it has a wide range of about 18 to 24 different amino acids in these long chains. And the difference between collagen and gelatin is because of the cooking process in gelatin, it breaks those helixes apart, and they're not nearly as long. That's the primary difference. Do either one have fat in them? No. Do either one have carbohydrates? No. They're literally just protein. And then because of the moisture, the gelatin has broken the collagens down, and away we go. So if you think about it, collagen is a more purified form of what's in your body. What does it do for your body? It does a lot of things for your body. It helps your skin. It helps your nails. It helps your hair. It helps all the connective tissues, such as ligaments, spinal discs, joints, and all those types of things in your body. And by taking gelatin, you're just supporting it. Now, the acid in your stomach breaks down the amino acids, because that long helix would actually have trouble getting into your bloodstream. So it does break it down a little bit, but it does enhance it. So what does longevity do? Because everyone has gelatin, and everyone has their different types. And here I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go like this, and share this with you really quick. And this is the longevity plain gelatin product. It's item number USYG 300005, and it's all 5 types of gelatin. So it's free range chicken, it's beef, it's eggs, it's all the egg shells, it's all the main type. And you can go to the website and read all about it. Oh, forgot fish. There's the 5th. And you can see all the different types. So it's a blend of all the gelatin in a powder. And we like it so much that we're starting to use it as a filler when we have room in capsules and things like that. So as you see us reformulate your products, you're going to see how we can improve the formulas by using just collagen as the filling item, which is truly exciting for me. You don't know how pleased I am, because the more collagen you get in your body, the better off you be. And then we were saying, well, if it helps all these things like skin and hair and nails, how can we take gelatin and make it better? How can we make gelatin and make it better? And so if I bring my mouse over here, I can blow this up and hopefully you can see it somewhat. But we added vitamins A, E, C, niacin, B10, folate. Then I'll move over here, B12 and zinc and biotin to it, as well as antioxidants and amino acids. And this product not only is collagen by itself better for your hair, skin, and nails, we're adding basically the hair, skin, and nail capsule that we had to it to make it grow even faster. And people have commented to me that even after the first jar, they're noticing that their fingernails are growing faster and they're becoming thicker. Their hair is fuller. Obviously, I take it. No, I'm just joking with you. I've had this much hair all my life. And the skin is getting tighter, a little bit tighter, and all those types of benefits. And so, how can you tell this stuff works? Well, when you can take one bottle and start to see the change in your body, you know it's working for you. So even if we did that, I'm going to switch this over. We have joints and we have connective tissues and we have discs in your back and things like that. And so we came out with a joint formula as well. And there again, if I click on this, it brings it up, and hopefully I'll go over here and see if we can blow it up. But we have all 5 of the collagens again. I have split screen, so if you wonder why I keep turning my head, to be honest with you, I don't have all the formulas memorized, so I take a quick look-see and cheat with you. Turmeric has HA, hyaluronic acid in it, as well as cherry powder, cranberry, MSM to help purify your cells, glucosamine, and chondroitin sulfate as well from bovine. And so this is a turbocharged formula. And we were asked a question by Bill who said, what can we do with discs? I would take the Healthy Start Pack. I would take the collagen product for joints, and I would take liquid glucogel if I really wanted to go after stuff in the neck and spine area. And that's the item number 13216. because we actually have glucogel in 2 different formulas. We have liquid glucogel and we have glucogel plus. And for this particular scenario, I like the liquid glucogel. And so the other key things on people, let me get rid of this here. The other key thing about it is that you're going to notice with your skin, just by taking the regular collagen, you have less wrinkles around your skin. If you have hollow eyes, you're going to see those go away. You're going to, I won't say you're going to gain muscle, but as you get to my age, because I turned 70 in 2 weeks, you won't lose muscle mass as much by taking collagen. It'll give you that support. You'll also get more flexibility in your tendon and your ligaments, and it will help with osteoporosis and worn out cartilage. If you have absolutely no cartilage in that area, will it regrow it? No, it needs a seed to start. But if you have something there, it will be that you'll get that benefit. The other thing that collagen does, it helps your gut be healthier. And I know I've been on this call and you hear me get on my soapbox about how I usually start everybody on the healthy digestive pack, because if they're going to spend all the money on this product, I want to make sure their gut's healthy when they take our product so they absorb it. And as well as if you look at the microbiome, as I mentioned, you're going to notice that we started to put collagen in it as a additional product. And so you're going to see more and more collagen really quickly. As I look at my cheat notes, it helps with blood flow as well as and coagulation. And so it's good for your bloodstream. It's good for your connective tissues. It's good for your heart. It's good for your gut. It's just a win-win. And so if you have not tried our collagen product, I encourage you to reach out and give it a try. The inexpensive one is, I think, $31 or less. And then depending on what we put into it, the price does go up with that. And we'll go from there. But it's one of the hottest things. Karen was out getting her toenails decorated. And the lady next to her was talking about how she tried collagen and it's making her skin feel better. And Karen just looked over and says, "Oh, my husband works with collagen all over the place," and gave her my business card, and she's trying one of ours. And so, if you're going to build your business, you have to be willing to butt in and listen to other people's conversations. And when they give you an opportunity, brag about it when you have an important product on how you do that. And so I'm open for questions. I know I talked way too fast because we've only been into this for a half an hour, but if people have questions about collagen, I'd be more than happy, Becca, to answer, or if you have questions for me as well.
So I actually have a couple things that I wanted to share in regards to the collagen. So many of you know I've lost 100 pounds on the longevity product, and collagen has been a big part of that, whether it was with the glucogel in the beginning or now. I do collagen peptides, the blue and white canister, in my coffee every day, at least 1 cup. I do the collagen bone and joint. I love doing that as a hot water, like a tea at night. Is there something wrong with that?
No.
Perfect. I love it. Good. And then we have the collagen serum that I use on my face, the collagen hair, skin, and nails, which you showed us on the website, which is absolutely fantastic. But I started to say, even with losing 100 pounds, I don't have sagging skin. I love that. And I think that the collagen really did make a big difference. And then the collagen creamer. Oh my goodness. You can do the creamer for your coffee with collagen in it already, added in there, has MCT oil also, which is fantastic. And then the Saxy with collagen. So for those who love those super fruits, you get your super fruits with collagen, all in one, and it tastes amazing. And so, Richard, I've tried other collagens, forgive me, but I keep coming back to longevity. It doesn't screw up the flavor of what I put it in, and many of them do. So I'm absolutely loving our collagen, to the point where I wanted to put all of the collagen together. So for those of you who are not working with somebody, if you go to Top Shelf Collagen, because that's what this is, folks, Top Shelf, topshelfcollagen.com, you're going to find all of the longevity collagen products right there with information and links to learn more about the collagen. So just wanted to throw that in there. We have Dave out on YouTube saying hello. We have Nancy. She says her husband, so it stopped my husband from knee surgery, talking about collagen. To this very day, he can get on his knees and reach things for me. She says, "Thank you, Dr. Wallach." And she has one of those original talks on a cassette. So thank you so much, Nancy, for sharing that. Dave is saying hello, Richard. Did I say that already? And Nancy's wanting to know, should we be taking both collagen or gelatin, I think is what she's referring to? Or better question, can you take too much?
So the only thing that could be too much, and it would be hard to do, because I know people have been taking 12 to 15 glucogels a day plus the collagen, and they haven't had the problem. So there is a possibility of constipation. But other than that, I have heard of no adverse side effects. And Becca, I just want to jump back with you and congratulate you on your 100 pounds, and your tight skin, because usually when people lose that much weight, they end up having a lot of extra skin because their bodies produced it to cover up the mass, right? And so by taking collagen and selenium, and I'll tell you why the selenium, you can reduce that. And with some people like you, I can't even, looks like, you might have gone, maybe had some treatment or something, you look so good. But the selenium has copper in it, and copper helps with elasticity in your skin. And so that's why I mentioned that particular product. Can you mix all our collagens together? Yes. Gelatin, be careful if you put gelatin in hot water, because that's how they make Jell-O. And it might thicken up a little bit on you if you do that and let it cool and then try to drink it. Because if you're like me and you put your collagen in your coffee like you do, here I have to hold my cup right there. You don't. I take me 2 hours to drink this cup, and so I don't want it to get thick on me and have my spoon stand up in it. But you won't have that with ours. And then we do have all 5 major types of collagen. And one of the reasons why some of them are obviously more expensive than others. We do bring in a lot of the collagen from New Zealand because of the quality issues. And it's those things that ours may cost a little bit more, but B, they're more purified, therefore they don't have any adverse taste. They don't taste like fish. And so we don't have to mask that up with flavoring that might contradict something else. And so there's the reasons behind that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I don't know if you're familiar with all of the Life Force products, but I guess FlexiCare Plus has some collagen in it, possibly.
I could look really quick if you could chat for a few seconds.
Issues. Donald mentions that the connective or the collagen peptides only has 15 servings. Yes, Donald, 2 scoops per day. That makes 15 servings per canister. But I love the fact that it's affordable enough. You can get 2 canisters to last you all month long. Now Rod has a question. Let's go to AJ. Let's go to AJ's and then we'll get to Rod's, because AJ's hand was up before Rod's question came in. AJ.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Dr. Dirt. When you use the collagen, is it a good idea? Is it required? Is it helpful to use the MSM in conjunction?
If I were to, is it beneficial? Yes. If I were to plug to take one additional product always with collagen, I would put a digestive enzyme with it just to help your body get it into your system and work with that. But I like MSM. I've been taking MSM for 30 years. And I take between 500 milligrams and a gram a day. So I'm a big proponent of MSM. And so would it be beneficial? Yes. But if I were to pick one thing, I would tell you take it with a digestive enzyme to help break down the protein. I looked up FlexiCare, and it does have collagen, 200 milligrams, but it's just type 1, so it's just bovine. I lay a bet within a year, Steve will change that, and he'll put all 5 in there.
Awesome.
Just real quick, Yvonne had a question on YouTube, and I guess it's in relation to your comment about putting plastic to keep the plant bed warm in the winter. She mentioned leaves. Is that similar? What are your thoughts on using leaves?
Yeah, leaves is fine. The other thing is they have those garden bed fabric that goes on top. I usually get the stuff that decomposes after a couple of years, but that as well. But the idea is that you keep the soil warmer by covering it and allow the. You also find out after a given period of time if it's not a raised bed that it'll have more worms in it and whatnot, and that's actually a good thing. It means your soil is healthier. And so you want to do that. And I also, with leaves and whatnot, because leaves will decompose, you'll have more worms as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, fantastic. And next question, for a person with Achilles problems. So that's connective tissue. Collagen for bone and joint or glucogel. What would be your go-to?
Collagen with the joint collagen. The only challenge with the Achilles, if it's inflamed, yes, that will help. If it's totally separated from the heel, then unfortunately you're probably looking at a surgery to reattach it. But then you still need to take the collagen with joint to heal that surgery point more extreme. Because if you totally separate your Achilles tendon, your muscle, you're in the back of your calf will actually roll up towards your knee, and you'll have this great big ball in the back of your leg. And we see it a lot in basketball players that have that, or partially ruptured one. But depending on the injury and how extreme it is what the steps you need to take.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah. And so folks, one thing that I didn't really mention in the introduction of Richard is he's been a team trainer for college teams, university teams.
Yeah, and professional. University of Oregon, if you either love them or hate them, the Ducks, as well as Portland State University and the Portland Trailblazers in the NBA. And I also did some soccer teams too.
Fantastic. So he knows a little bit about sports injuries, and Achilles is a common one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you so much. And let's go over to Rod. And Rod, what other questions do you have for Richard?
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you fine, Rod. How are you today?
Hi, how are you, Richard? I know you get plenty of my emails and everything, so thanks for answering so quickly as well. So now, since we are doing more collagen, is it less glucogel tablets, but the collagen peptides or the collagen plus, or the collagen bone and joint?
You know, if you have a severe injury that you want to address, then I would do collagen and the liquid glucogels. As the injury becomes more of a maintenance situation, then you can do a balancing game if budget is a key issue. You know, I ruined my knee playing catcher in baseball on my left knee. I got taken out at home plate. And so I've been taking products to support my knee health all my life. Could I stop? Probably. You know, I'm not on the field catching anymore. Can I still get up on my hands and knees and look underneath the bed? Yes. Can I still take stuff off the top shelf for Karen? Yes. And so, you know, I just don't feel the need for me to stop taking it. You know, I want to maintain a healthy lifestyle for my life. You know, I just got back from a wonderful vacation to Thailand, Hong Kong, Vietnam, and Singapore. And we were averaging 6 miles a day, walking up and down temple stairs to look at Buddha statues and things like that. And, you know, I never once had problems with my knee. And, you know, and I know a lot of people have had knee replacement, and I just go, okay, maybe someday for me, but not today.
What's your go-to product? So
my go-to product is liquid glucogel. It's not the prettiest tasting, but I've seen so much positive results with that product.
And the difference in the plus and the regular liquid glucogel?
It's just the glucogel plus has fruits and vegetables in it. It's more of a super fruit and has less of the chondroitin and glucosamine and those type key ingredients. And I just think the other thing, and this will make people laugh, it's not the best tasting. It's one of my original formulas that I did. And so if someone's going to take it every day, they're serious about it. And they just see results. You know, I have people that I had a friend by the name of Roger Roberts. He was a well-known distributor before we lost him. But when he first started to take the product, he said that he didn't think it was working till one day he was shaving and he lives up in the middle of Alaska. I mean, truly the middle of Alaska. There's 2 people in his town. He was one of them. And he says, I was looking in my mirror and all I could see was my chest. And then he realized he was standing up straighter because what he was 6'2", and so when he was looking in the mirror against the wall, it was reflecting the middle of his chest instead of his chin from where he was shaving, and that's how he knew it was working. And I go, keep taking it, and he keep taking it. And you know, Roger has a unique story because he basically is a Vietnam vet. He was exposed to some of the chemicals that was in Vietnam and had some really hard challenges. Was living up in Alaska and loved mushing. He lives in a city called Ophir, and you can go on the map and look on that. And the only way you're going to find it is the Iditarod map has a north and south route, and Ophir is Roger's house, and that's where they split it. And so that tells you how I'm out in the middle of nowhere it is. And Roger basically was going to do the old Iceland thing and get on a wooden barge and go out on the ocean and say goodbye to the world. Was not happy with his life. And he was out there and there was a bush pilot that was flying over him and was wondering what the heck he was doing. It landed and go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm tired of life and whatnot, and do that. And he basically says, well, if that's your attitude, why don't you listen to this tape before you do anything dumb? And this is when they were cassette tapes. And the guy actually had a cassette tape with my telephone number on it and gave it to him for Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And Roger gave me a call and says, what is this stuff? And I told him what it was. And he says, well, send me a little bit of everything. And I go, this is going to be rather expensive. And he goes, well, if it doesn't work, I plan on not paying the bill anyways. So I'll just go back to my original plan. And he ended up becoming what would be equivalent to a 3-star distributor with our company. And so, and was telling people all over about it. And he would come out of the middle of, and people that say, you know, I don't live in a big community. Well, there's not much smaller than what he had because he had one neighbor within 20 miles of him, but he would come into town and talk it up. And so which product's my favorite? Liquid glucogel. And it's a fun story to tell people about it.
Thank you so much. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the question, Rod. Appreciate it. And that kind of goes around to Bruce says that he has heard you use the phrase best bang for your buck. And he is putting up ProJoint, Glucogel, MSM, or collagen peptides. So you're going with Glucogel liquid?
Liquid glucogel is my number one.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm going to qualify that. You still need to take all 90 essential nutrients, no matter which direction you go. And so, you know, if you want to, if you're on a tight budget, you can go get Ultra Body Toddy and Prohoba Omega, put the 2 together, and you have that. I mean, there's ways that you can financially afford this. But the one thing that I find out, and it's usually the first question out of my mouth, is people go, oh, I just can't afford the product. And I go, well, how often do you go to Starbucks? And they go, oh, I go to Starbucks every day. And I says, have you ever figured out how much you're spending on Starbucks a month? I go, you can afford it. You just need to decide that that's the quality of life you want. Because, you know, $6 a day times 30, that's $180 a month.
Yeah, my drink of choice, if I do go to Starbucks, is $8. So, and I know people go every day. It's crazy. Now Yvonne has a question. She wants to know, can animals use all of these products?
So I always look at what the animal normally eats. And if it's a vegetarian animal, then I don't be surprised if they don't eat it. If it's like a dog or a cat, sure, absolutely. But if it's a hamster or a bird, it becomes much more a maybe. And that's just because they can sense that it's animal products and they don't want to eat it.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. So thank you so much for using that analogy.
Oh, I'm going to throw one more quick thing out. Does everyone know that 3.0 is now vegetarian friendly?
No.
They changed the vitamin D in it from lanolin to the algae form, and it is now 100% vegetarian friendly.
Okay. So for all of you that are going towards the vegetarian side, Rise and Restore 3.0, 3.0 Star Pack. Got it for you. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Now I said the 3.0 Start Pack. I've got to change that though.
Yeah, because it's got EFAs in it.
Because it's got the EFA plus. So, all right. So Restore. And which EFA would you choose? Would it be the multi-EFA?
You know, all the EFAs are in bovine shells. And so they're going to have to make that decision that they're willing to just, Karen, my significant other, she's vegan, but she's still, I put the point on and showed her all the science of the support on the benefits of essential fatty acids. And because of that, she takes EFA plus. And so not only is she taking bovine, but she's also taking fish oil.
You know, essential fatty acids, people don't realize how important they are for skin health, brain health, heart health, eye health, the whole body.
Yeah. They're, in my mind, of the 90 essential nutrients, and it's in the top 5 as most important nutrients you can possibly take.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we have a few more questions or a few more minutes here. We've got another question from AJ. AJ, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Richard, you know, this is kind of off topic, but I was very curious to know about an important historical figure from South Africa that you had a chance to work with. And I was very curious to know how that came about and what products did he take?
So the person to go with the story is that Doc was back lecturing in front of the UN 20 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, 25 years ago. And he met a gentleman by the name of Andrew Young, was with the UN at that particular time and a well-known diplomat within the United States. And he got Andrew Young to start to take the products, and he got some benefits. And Andrew Young introduced it to a couple people that everyone here might know. Mrs. Martin Luther King was taking our products. In fact, we had a convention in the South, and Martin Luther King Jr.'s son came to us and thanked it for improving the quality of his mother's life. And so, and he was unannounced. He just came in to the hallway, and we didn't recognize him. Shame on us. We didn't recognize him, and he asked if he could have 5 minutes on the stage. And we were going, oh, we have a really kind of tight budget. And he goes, well, let me just introduce myself. Well, that changed that one. And so we allowed him to have his 5 minutes. And then the other person was Mandela of South Africa. And he basically wanted the Healthy Start Pack then, which was called the Pig Pack, and just to improve the quality of his life. And so with Andrew Young made the introduction, and then Mandela made the arrangements through his government to allow it to be imported in, and we were shipping it to him once a month, and he was taking the product. And so, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have tried our products. You know, I'd love to have them come and give testimonies if they can, but as a company, if you haven't noticed, we don't give testimonies because with our federal government, it has to be first party testimonies. In other words, I can say what it's done for me, but technically I'm not supposed to say what it's done for somebody else unless I can provide the information if someone wants to contact them. And so we just made the decision, unlike other companies, not to do third party testimonies in that way.
Oh, thank you very much for that. And just as a side note, Andrew Young just presided over Jimmy Carter's funeral.
Yes.
So yeah, these are important people you're rubbing elbows with.
Or at least Doc. I can only take advantage of the FDA when they fall asleep when I'm doing my point of opinion.
Right. Well, we have Annie who says, I love learning from Dr. Dirt and my garden loves Bloomin' Minerals. And William is asking the question, will any of these help with joints that are bone on bone missing cartilage?
So I would try Immortalium because that has a tendency to generate stem cell development within your body. And sometimes when you have stem cell, that will start the seeding process and you might get something back. I wish I could guarantee that, but I don't even think it's a 50-50 deal. So I would start with Immortality to see if you can do anything there. You may want to look at getting a ultrasound to see if you can see any, or a CAT scan to see if you have anything there left. But if it's pure bone on bone, then you basically need to work with stem cell and try to get some stem cell development and then go from there.
All right. Thank you so much for that answer. And Immortalium is not mentioned very often anymore. And that's an amazing product that I think we need to have a show that just really goes through and shares the benefits of. So, Richard, if you can think of anybody that would be a good candidate to share those benefits.
Next month I could do the Pro line.
Perfect. Yes. All right. Let's go over to Albert with a question.
Hi there, Richard. Thanks again for being with us and everything that you share with us. The question I have is, what experience have you had with helping people with Herberdens nodes on their hands?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. When I come on next month, I'll answer that question. Send me an email.
Top notch. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
In talking in this business in general, Becca, and I think you're going to agree with me, if you're asked a question, nutrition, and you don't have a strong answer that it's better to be honest and say, I don't know, I'll find out. And we all have a tree with longevity that we can go up and find that person that knows the answer and help you get qualified, correct information to everybody. Because the worst thing you could do, excuse my French, is give the little cow leftover answer. And we don't want to do that with our company.
No, we absolutely do not. So we want to give straight, honest answers every single time. Last question for you, Richard. Did you get Bill Walton products?
I did not give Bill Walton products. I did work with Bill. That's when I was doing my practicum, and I knew him quite well. The first blazer that started to take the product extensively was Theo Ratliff. And that's when we developed, he was with Atlanta, another Andrew Young situation, and was a spinoff. There was one person in between them, the Stinger. And he basically was going to be told by Atlanta Hawks to retire, even though he had multiple years left on his contract. And the Stinger basically told him to go talk to Doc. Doc put a formula together. Now you're talking about a man that's 6'11 and a half and 240 back then, I think. And so, Doc was having him on 4 pig packs a month and 24 glucogels. And so during the summer, he basically rebuilt his knee. The following year, he got the NBA defensive player one step down, what they call runner up, and led the league in block shots. And then they traded him to the Portland Trailblazers, came out to my neck of the woods, and I became quite good friends with Theo and his kids. I remember when his kids were to my waist. He has 2 daughters now. I think they're both over 6'4". And are devout volleyball players. And so, but he was the first blazer that I worked with as far as our products.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Richard. And William just says, thanks. I was wondering the exact thing about stem cell treatment first in regards to growing cartilage. Well, we're at the end of the show. If I could get our co-hosts up with us, greatly appreciate each and every one of them, as I could not do this. I wouldn't want to do this without a team, as they have come in and taken over some of the many functions of putting this show together, that I am just full of gratitude for each and every one of them. I'm very grateful, Richard, for you, as I know that you've got a busy schedule as well. You're taking the time out each month to be here with us to share more information and knowledge on what we can do as individuals through nutrition to help ourselves. So thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
And the team that we have on with us today, we have Rod, who's bringing in questions from all the different platforms, keeping an eye out there. Thank you, Rod. We have my executive production manager, Ruth Ellen, and she is taking this live video, putting it together with graphics, and then pushing it out to the different platforms, so that those of you who are out watching us on a live stream or even a replay, it's because she did her job very well. And we have Sherry, who helps with setting up that stream so that it does get to where it's supposed to be. So thank you so much, Sherry, for that. We have Marilyn, who is here in the Zoom live with us, doing dictation and doing a fine job of repeating what's being said and also the answers. So the questions and the answered and other information for each and every one of you. And we have also AJ. See, I can't see everybody. Oh no, wait, before AJ, we have Albert on the screens. We go in order so that people can put faces and names together. We have Albert and Marty, that's the zebra behind him from his, yes, very own yard, who is joining us from South Africa, letting people in so that those who are live here in the Zoom can get in and hear the program firsthand. So thank you so much, Albert, for all that you're doing in almost the middle of the night. And we have AJ, who has been very instrumental in pushing me to where people are watching and listening, and making sure that we get those accounts set up so that we can meet people where they're at and getting information. So thank you so much, AJ, and working with the whole team and helping us to improve on our digital awareness as well. A shout out to the gentleman who did our logos and branding, who's also helping get with teaching on how to get more awareness and using digital marketing as our friend, and that is Ivan Frenner. So thank you, everybody, for being here. My name is Becca Dukes. I am the executive producer of this show. I'm also the director of student services for the Institute of Holistic Health, and not only a certified holistic health coach, but also a certified naturopathic practitioner, where I have taken my story, where I did many years of searching for solutions and now using solutions that I found, sharing it with others so that they also can have a better health journey. Folks, thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc and Becca. Don't forget to go to our website, sign up for our newsletter. That's dailywithdoc.com. That is available for each and every one of you, as we're sharing information as to when we're going live, what the program is about, and also a replay of past programming. Do a search on any of your search engines, Daily with Doc and Becca, and you will find us on your favorite platform. So folks, until next time, bye for now. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.